This is ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB basketball, the 2015 Mid-American Conference champions. UB Basketball Insider is presented to you by Napa Auto Parts, co-sponsored by Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill, and brought to you by your Team UB partners, New Era Cap, Nike, AdPro Sports, WGRZ Channel 2, and Pepsi. The State University of New York Bulls are back and ready to defend their championship on the hardwood. Time for UB Basketball Insider, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Now, here's Howard Simon.
Good evening once again from Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on Transit Road. It is the UB Basketball Insider here on ESPN 1520. My name is Howard Simon. Joined tonight by UB assistant coach Donyell Marshall here at Santora's. We got a lot to talk about. Big win over the Griffs the other day. Big Four matchup again tomorrow night, St. Bonaventure, 7 o'clock at Alumni Arena, right here on ESPN 1520, also on TV on ESPN3. If you'd like to get tickets to the game, 1-877-UB there, or you can go online, ubbulls.com. And then there's that, a couple games after that. Somebody named Duke and Iowa State are on the schedule. Also, the women are home Sunday. Don't forget about that. They're now 6-0. Got a Sunday home game against Duquesne. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Coach, good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, you guys are winning, so everybody's in a good mood, right?
Well, I don't know about that. Coaches are never happy.
I get that. I've learned that over the years.
Yeah, but
less annoyed when you win. How about that?
That's a better term.
Okay, then we'll go with that. But I mean, you've got quite a stretch going here. Let's start with the latest victory, and that was the game over Canisius, 98-96 in overtime. Coaches are obviously very busy during the game. When you're done with a game like that and you win a game like that, do you get a chance afterward to sit back and go, man, that was a tremendous basketball game to be a part of and to watch?
Well, you do probably after an hour or so after the game. Not right away. Your heart's still pumping. You're excited. But sometimes the coach and then you goes right back to why was the game so close? Where did we make mistakes? What do we have to work on the next practice? But for us, it was good because we actually had Sunday off, so we were able to savor that win for a little bit. And, with basketball, a lot of time, your turnaround is so quick. You play a game on Monday, you go again on Wednesday. And, for me playing in the NBA, sometimes we used to have 4 or 5 games in a week, so it was even quicker. But, it was a good win against Canisius, and we had to get right back to work on Monday to get ready for St. Bonaventure.
Well, then I'll speak for the fans. It was a fun game. You were all right. You guys are busy coaching and stressing out. I'm telling you, as someone who I was working, but was able to watch the game, that was a very entertaining college basketball. I mean, lead changes, game going back and forth, lots of points, clutch shots, drama, overtime. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was really an outstanding game to watch.
Well, it was a lot of fun depending on which side you were on. Even if you were a fan of Canisius, you're probably saying it wasn't a lot of fun. If you're a fan of Buffalo, you're saying it was a lot of fun. The coaching staff, the emotions were high. Then they went back down. Yep. Then they got high again. But that's why you coach. You coach for those moments. And, it was funny because the day before in practice, we had worked on late game situations, and we didn't know we were going to need it, and it came back to that we really needed it. And, it was good because the day before when we were working on them, some situations happened that didn't turn out too good, and we really, really got on the players pretty good and told them that there's going to be a game that we're going to need these situations, and we didn't know it was going to be that next game.
And it worked twice. Let's talk about both late-game situations. First, regulation, then we'll get to overtime. I guess you should expect the senior to make that shot, right? Jaron Skeek hits that big three to get you guys into overtime.
Well, he's been our leader from day one, and he came to the huddle and he told Coach that he wanted to take the last shot, and we just put that play in probably about a week or two ago. So it was good that we had it. We knew that he wanted it, and he took it and he made it. The shot in overtime, we drew it up just how it happened.
No way. You're lying.
It was a great play by Monte.
Yeah.
It was a play that we hadn't really run too much during the game. And we knew that those guys were going to go out with the shooters, and it left Perk open under the basket. And I think he knew that he didn't finish it well at the end of regulations, right. And he made sure he finished that one.
It's almost like that previous shot, it's almost like, and you tell me, looking at it live and watching the replay, it's almost like in his mind he wasn't sure. Should I dunk it? Should I lay it up? And he was in that kind of between world, and he it didn't. He didn't get it.
I think you're correct. He went up, and I think when he went up to dunk it at first, and probably realized he wasn't high enough, and then it was like, should I just lay it in? And by the time he really thought about that, he was coming back down, and the ball just slipped out of his hand. Truthfully, it probably really worked for us because if we make that, it's still a 1-point game, and then we have to foul Canisius and they go down. He misses it. We get the ball out of bounds. We're able to hit the three and send it to overtime.
The play in overtime, I want to ask you about Nick in a second, but let me backtrack to Lamonte, who really made a tremendous pass to start the play. He said after the game he wasn't expecting the double team, that they both came at him, and he makes a beautiful pass to Perkins. That speaks volumes, doesn't it, that a sophomore point guard has the presence of mind, doesn't panic, just looks where he's got to go with the ball, sees an open Nick Perkins, and boom, gets him the great pass.
Well, I have to compliment Monte. The Old Dominion game, he didn't come out, he didn't play well, and that next day, coach really got into him, and he has responded well since then. He has stepped his game up. He is. We were trying to figure out who to put Monte on defensively, and he accepted the challenge. The kid from Canisius was averaging 26 points a game, and Monte stepped up and said, let me guard him. So that speaks volumes right there of him stepping up as a leader, as being a sophomore. And we knew to put the ball in his hands. We knew that's our playmaker. We knew that he would be smart with the ball, and it turns out that he was very smart with the ball.
You're bringing up his defense. We're bringing up his passing. And I think, again, in terms of a sophomore, talk about the development of his game, coach, because his stat line against Canisius, 18 points, 5 assists, 4 steals, plays 39 of 45 minutes. I know you guys have talked to him about shooting more and scoring more, 7 of 12 from the field. And defensively matching up against Malcolm McMillan. Don't know what else you could ask him to do.
Well, the way you get better every day is by having somebody else to go against every day in practice. And CJ, who has been the surprise of our team so far, is giving Monte a run for his money in practice. So you're so tired of going up against a guy like that every day that when it gets to the game, you're so happy to go against somebody else that it's been working out for Monte. So again, his defense is speaking volume. He loves to pass, and we demand that he shoots more. He has been, but you're never going to take away his passing ability and the way he plays the passing lanes. And he's going to continue to do that, and he's doing a great job.
Nate had talked, Coach, about the wins in the tip-off tournament over North Carolina A&T and then Vermont, and a young team learning how to win games, learning how to win close games. What kind of a step was the Canisius game? Again, close game, having to come from behind, too, and do that.
Well, going back to the tournament, the tip-off tournament, we came home with a trophy. And a lot of people look at, okay, it was a small tournament. It was a tournament. You come home with a trophy, and it helps you out. It helps your team get confidence, and I think that's where it starts at. But the Canisius game was huge because Canisius is a very good team. That team is going to be one of the top teams in the MAC this year. The other MAC, I coached in that league the last 2 years, so I know that league very well. And Canisius is going to be a very good team over there, and it was my scout, and when I watched them, I went to coach and told him, we're going to have to match their energy. They have guys who can play, guys who can shoot, and the guys really paid attention in the scouting report, and I think that's what really helped us pull that victory out.
One other thing about this game, although I think we're seeing that over the course of the season, you guys had 6 players in double figures. Now, that's the second time that's happened this season. It had not happened at UB since 2004, and this team has accomplished it twice already. Just talk a little bit about, and I think you guys could tell, the balance and the depth on this roster that you're getting right now, everybody contributing, bench scoring. To have that kind of balance, how much does it help the coaches? What does it mean to have that kind of balance?
Well, it helps us out a lot. A lot of people were wondering who were we going to go to when, the situation that happened earlier this year when we lost Moss. People were wondering who was going to get the ball, where we were going to get our points from. If a bucket was needed, who was going to get those points. We always felt from that point on, we didn't really have a guy to go to, but we had multiple guys on any given night that was going to be able to step up. And if you look at it, somebody has stepped up on almost every different night, which is good because you can't necessarily zone in on one person from our team to stop. And it really helps us out because you're not coming down and saying, okay, we got to get this guy the ball. We got to get this guy the ball. No, it's whoever's hot at that point in time, whoever's hot during that game, and it's going to be a different guy all the time.
The team's averaging 82 points a game. I don't know if you'll stay there all season. It's tough to. But are you surprised? Are the coaches surprised in light of, the losses off of last season's team that you're at that point offensively right now?
No, we're not surprised because it happens on every level. There's times I've been in the NBA and you're sitting up here and, Allen Iverson's not playing tonight. Well, the other guys step up and then you end up losing because those guys are not used to seeing the ball. And a lot of times, you look at, we probably would have been concentrating on getting the ball to Moss. And now we don't have to do that. We're able to pass it around. And the scoring, a lot of guys on our team can score. Now we have to pick up our defense a little bit, but offensively we're coming around, and I think it's great when you can share the ball and you can't zone in on one person. It just makes your team that much more better.
We are with Donyell Marshall. When we get back, he mentioned CJ Massenberg, and we talked about Nick Perkins. We'll talk a little bit about some of the key contributions the Bulls are getting from the newcomers, and then a little bit later in the show. Let me make sure I phrase this correctly, Coach. The guy who shares your record for most threes in an NBA game announced his retirement. We'll talk about that with Donyell as well as the UB Basketball Insider from Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on Transit Road on ESPN 1520.
Napa know-how! You'll do anything to keep your phone alive, like fashioning an adapter from a hairpin and some used gum. Or get the Blue Fuel portable power bank at Napa for only $18.99. 2 full battery charges for your phone for one low price. For $18.99, the portable power bank will keep your phone fully charged. No hairpins or chewing gum required. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 12/31/15.
You didn't forget about us, did you?
I hope not.
Because we're back, and we've added a few more to the family.
He tries to run it left side, and somehow it wins with a shoulder lamp. It's good!
Wigginton slapped it in. Kick it out. Skeet got it.
Season tickets for your defending MAC champions and NCAA tournament team are on sale now. Call the UB ticket office to get your tickets today.
Join us at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Hey, it's Paul Santora letting you know we have 2 great locations. One on Millersport Highway next to the Marriott, one on Transit Road next to Transit Lanes. We've got 60 taps, 66 TVs. All of our food is made to order with the freshest and most natural ingredients. Both locations have live music, Millersport on Friday, Transit Friday and Saturday night. There's no better place to enjoy football and hockey with great drink and food specials for every game. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill since 1927. 4 generations strong, the only family to say we are the original. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Great food, great people, great beer.
Buffalo, are you ready for some basketball? UB men's basketball is set to host Big Four rival St. Bonaventure on Wednesday, December 2nd. It's Blackout Bonna, and all fans are encouraged to wear black to the game. Don't miss out on the chance to catch regional rivals compete on the hardwood. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit ubbulls.com or call 877-UB-THERE.
You're listening to ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB Athletics. Welcome back to the State University of New York Bulls UB Basketball Insider, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Now, here's Howard Simon.
So here's your schedule. The Bulls and Bonna tomorrow night should be a great one at Alumni Arena. You can get your tickets at 1-877-UB-THERE or ubbulls.com. If you can't make it out to the game, it's right here on ESPN 1520 at 7. It's also on ESPN 3. And then Saturday, the Bulls play at 7th-ranked Duke, 5:15. You can see that game on ESPN2. Of course, we'll have it here on ESPN 1520. And then Monday night, they'll be in Ames, Iowa, to take on 5th-ranked Iowa State. That's a 9 o'clock game, and that's on ESPNU. And quickly again, because if Coach Jack is listening, she'll smile. The women are 6-0. Got a big win in the UCF Classic. They're home Sunday against Duquesne at 2 o'clock. And, again, get your tickets. You can support the women out at Alumni Arena. All right, you mentioned a couple of names I wanted to talk to you about. The newcomers have had a really big impact. The JUCO guys for sure, but freshmen too. And I want to ask you about Nick Perkins. I'm sure you work with him, big guy working with big guy. For a freshman, I'm sure he's making mistakes, but he looks like he's got a pretty good deal of poise out there making that transition to this level of Division I.
You know, he's a guy that's very coachable. You love guys like that as a coach. And he's a guy going into the Canisius game 2 days before, he had a very tough practice. For some reason, he just wasn't into it, and I got into him. Coach got into him. He was down. We were really nervous going into that Canisius game, and he responded the way a really good player is supposed to respond. You would have never thought that he was a freshman the way that he responded, and that's what we love about the guys on our team is they're very coachable. Coach really gets on them, and they try to respond. And you know, for Nick to be a freshman, he works extremely hard. He came in, he lost a lot of weight. You know, he likes to shoot the three. We're trying to get him to go on the post a little bit more. But, you know, he's working hard every day. He stays after, he shoots. Guys like that, you just love to work with.
You know, that play, the game-winning play, the dunk, works out for you guys. And it seemed like, Danielle, keep an eye on Nick. Nick will come out high, and he was flashing that screen high a lot. And then he'll cut back into the lane. And I thought there were a few times where he was open in the lane. Whatever, they didn't get the ball to him. There was another shot. And I thought it's appropriate that play worked at the end of the game because I think he's really good at coming out, setting that screen, and then getting himself open for a pass if they get him the ball back.
He is, and it's funny because as I said, we're trying to work with him, getting in the paint a little more, and rolling to the basket as well. And sometimes when you're a guard, you're so used to him popping all the time that when he was rolling, they weren't looking for him right away. Okay. And that's why you probably saw him open.
Because he was rolling.
You're saying get him the ball.
Right, he was definitely moving, right.
The guards were just used to him popping all the time.
Okay.
So, we're getting into roll, and they finally found him when he rolled the last game, and we'll take that roll right now, and we'll get him to keep rolling. And, he has to keep the defenses on their heels. And when you roll and you're a good pick-and-pop player like him and they don't know what you're going to do, it keeps the defense on their heels, and that's what we're trying to teach them.
You mentioned C.J. Massenberg, the surprise right now. Again, another freshman. I would use the poise word again to describe his play. What has surprised the coaches about how C.J. has looked so far?
Well, C.J.'s a guy we got very late in the recruiting process. He was very overlooked by a lot of people. I knew him before I came on staff. Coach Weitzel seen him play. So we kind of both, were able to convince Nate to take him, that we both knew him. And we really didn't think C.J. was going to play a lot of minutes this year. Again, we got him late. But he came in, and sometimes as a freshman, if the only thing you know how to do is play hard, it helps you. And that's what C.J. does. If you've been our practice and see how much C.J. gets yelled at and pretty much just, laughs it off and goes to the next play and plays extremely hard, you would wonder, like, how does this guy play through it? But he does. And he's a guy, we put him on the other team's best offensive player a lot, but he also comes on the offensive end and he hits big shots. He gets to the free throw line. He's learning to be a consistent point guard. He does everything that we ask him to do.
You know what? And I'm hanging around coaches way too much. I used to just look at points. But one of the things that stands out about him, 4 turnovers in 133 minutes. For a freshman, that's pretty good.
Well, I have to show that to Coach because the way Coach yells at him in practice, you would think he would have more than that.
Look, Coach, I'm telling you, 10 assists, 4 turnovers in 133 minutes for a freshman.
Well, for a freshman who's learning to play point guard, you have to realize he came in as a combo, and he's playing a lot point guard because we have Skeet, we have Monte, but we needed somebody else to be able to give Monte and Skeet a rest, and this guy's coming over, learning to play point guard, and like you said, to only have 4 turnovers is big.
There are times when you have all 3 of them on the court at the same time, right? Skeet, Bearden, and Massenberg. Because Lamonte was talking about that after the win over Canisius, how he thinks you guys can play a faster game when the 3 of them are on the court together. Why do you do that, and what do you get when the 3 of them are out there?
Well, you do that when teams are trapping. That way you have ball handlers out there. But it's also like Monte says, you can play faster. That way, a lot of times when you get the rebound, the bigs usually look for the point guard. When you have all 3 of them on the floor together, when the bigs get the rebound, you're looking for the first guard because all of them can play the same position. All of them can score. All of them can shoot. All of them can come off pick and roll. So you really don't have just that one ball handler, and it makes it tougher for the defenses. You got guys who want to help off of or guys they want to push one way. But when you have 3 ball handlers out there, kind of like the way they played last year when Shannon Evans was here, they was the same type of style. And I think that the guys like that, so that's why they're able to, embrace CJ as well.
We're with Donyell Marshall. When we get back, the next few games on the schedule, we'll talk about Bonna, Duke, Iowa State, and Kobe Bryant announcing his retirement. That's a relevant story as well with Donyell. That's coming up. UB Basketball Insider from Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on Transit Road on ESPN 1520.
Napa know-how. You'll do anything to keep your phone alive, like fashioning an adapter from a hairpin and some used gum. Or get the Blue Fuel portable power bank at Napa for only $18.99. 2 full battery charges for your phone for one low price. For $18.99, the portable power bank will keep your phone fully charged. No hairpins or chewing gum required. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 12/31/15.
You didn't forget about us, did you?
I hope not.
Because we're back, and we've added a few more to the family.
Skeet tries to run it left side, and somehow it with a shoulder layup. It's good! Wigginton slams it in. Kick it out. Skeet got it.
Season tickets for your defending MAC champions and NCAA tournament team are on sale now. Call the UB ticket office to get your tickets today.
Join us at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Hey, it's Paul Santora letting you know we have 2 great locations. One on Millersport Highway next to the Marriott, one on Transit Road next to Transit Lanes. We've got 60 taps, 66 TVs. All of our food is made to order with the freshest and most natural ingredients. Both locations have live music, Millersport on Friday, Transit Friday and Saturday night. There's no better place to enjoy football and hockey with great drink and food specials for every game. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill since 1927. 4 generations strong, the only family to say we are the original. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Great food, great people, great beer.
Buffalo, are you ready for some basketball? UB men's basketball is set to host Big Four rival St. Bonaventure on Wednesday, December 2nd. It's Blackout Bonna, and all fans are encouraged to wear black to the game. Don't miss out on the chance to catch regional rivals compete on the hardwood. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit ubbulls.com or call 877-UB-THERE.
You're listening to ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB Athletics. Welcome back to the State University of New York Bulls UB Basketball Insider, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Now, here's Howard Simon.
And we are with Donyell Marshall here tonight on the UB Basketball Insider. Bonna tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, ESPN 1520, ESPN3. It is at Alumni Arena. I don't know if this was your scout. Early thoughts, even if it wasn't early thoughts, anything on preparing for Bonna tomorrow night? What kind of challenges they present?
They're a very good team. They have 3 players that are scoring 15 points or more, 4 players scoring double figures. They had just beat Canisius before we did, and it was a very good game. Obviously they have very good players, a very good coach. They're going to run a lot of sets. We have to come out, play the same way we did against Canisius, maybe a little better. No, don't go in overtime, but we're going to have to sit down. This is going to be a defensive game and come out and obviously run our sets, don't turn the ball over, and box out and rebound.
Now make sure you tell your players not to start thinking about what's coming up Saturday and Monday before they take care of business tomorrow night.
We already did that in practice.
Okay,
today.
good.
We had to do that in practice.
They're kids. It's hard not to know that, you're getting on a plane later this week. You're going to Durham, and you're playing at Duke on Saturday.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I think I'm thinking about it a little bit as well. UConn and Duke have a very big history.
Yeah.
It's not great.
I'm not going to mention the Leitner play.
Well, you know what? Leitner and I are actually very good friends. I got drafted to Minnesota when he was there, and him and I are very good friends. We still talk. I know he's a local. It's funny because UConn and Duke really don't get along, but Leitner and I are good friends. I like Grant Hill. Played with Jason Williams, with Jay Williams. So a couple of those guys I get along with. But I never played there. I've never been there, so I'm very excited myself. We got to take care of business tomorrow, but I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit of early Christmas present for me coming up.
Now, there are a number of guys on this team who played at Rupp last year against number 1 Kentucky. So maybe they've gone through the aura or maybe even intimidation, or is it a concern when you go into Duke on Saturday to tell your guys, look, we know it's Duke, we know it's Cameron, we know it's Coach K. Try and calm down and play your game.
Well, the difference is Kentucky, which I've never been there either, but they play in a more of an arena style like ours.
Yep.
Whereas
Big
Duke,
place, yeah.
they're on top of you.
Yeah.
And they've haven't. I don't know if they've heard these fans scream the way these Duke fans are. I'm watching the video edit of Duke, and when you watch it on TV, you never really pay attention to this. But when I was watching it on the video on the computer, so I can get the sets down, I watched at halftime, and their managers were sprinting to the locker room like it was a race, and I had to rewind it. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Their managers, I think we need to put that for our managers as well. I would like to see Jake in his bow tie and his shoes running to the locker room at halftime, but it's a different thing. It's a different thing. It's no different than a baseball fan going to, like you said, Yankee Stadium or
you playing at MSG when you're at
Madison
UConn.
Square Garden.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I walked in Madison Square Garden, I was just like, What is this? It's the mecca of basketball. And it's the same thing going here, but we're going here to win, though. We're not going here just to, say we play Duke. We're going down there to try to get a win.
I mentioned the big NBA news, Kobe Bryant announcing he's going to retire at the end of the season. So Kobe shares your record for most three-pointers made in a single game in NBA history. What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts when you heard about Kobe announcing his retirement?
Well, Kobe and I are pretty much from the same area. He's from Lower Merion. I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania. And, so we grew up, obviously I'm a little older than him. He watched me, I watched him. And every time we would play each other, we would talk and stuff. And, for me, it's something that I can tell my kids, I can tell my grandchildren. I played against Michael Jordan. I played against Kobe. I played with Karl Malone, with John Stockton, with LeBron James. And it was sad news, but Father Time is undefeated, and the injuries he's had over the past couple years, you could just tell that his body was starting to break down. And I'm glad that he did it early so it can give the fans a taste and let them enjoy his last season. My daughter works for the Boston Celtics, but Kobe is her favorite player, and Lakers and Celtics. That's not
wow.
That's
she
not
shouldn't
good.
Tell people that, yeah.
But she was sad the other day. She was sad when she heard the news, and it was just like a lot of people are. But unfortunately, it's going to always happen.
Listen, Kobe's probably not going to break that record that you have, but if there's one guy you should worry about, Steph Curry is a guy you should probably worry about someday.
Well, I have to agree with you on that. There's been about 3 or 4 times over the last 2 years where it's been 11, 12 o'clock at night, and people start tweeting me or texting
no
me.
kidding,
And
really?
Steph Curry is close to your record. Steph Curry is close to your record. So I have to turn the game on. There's a lot of times I had to be up early, but I felt I had to put the Danielle Jinx on the game in order to stop them. It's worked a couple of times.
I'm going to say it's working so far. So good luck. Well, listen, thank you for coming in. It's great talking to you. Congratulations again on the win over Canisius. And good luck tomorrow night at Bonna and at those other places.
Thanks for having me.
It is the UB Basketball Insider again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, UB and Bonna, right here on ESPN 1520, on ESPN3 as well. For Danielle, I'm Howard Simon. Thanks for joining us. Our thanks, as always, to Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on Transit Road. ESPN Radio coming up next on ESPN 1520.
This has been the UB Basketball Insider Show, presented by Napa Auto Parts. You're listening to ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB Athletics. For Bulls updates 24/7, visit ubbulls.com.